Hey there. Welcome to this week's episode of Epic Entrepreneurs, brought to you by Action Coach Growth Partners. I'm your host, Bill Gilliland. And in this podcast, you'll find three things. You're going to hear real stories from real entrepreneurs that will help you along your entrepreneurial journey. You're also going to get business tips to help you scale up faster, and you're going to get actual coaching to help you get better real world results to be the best entrepreneur you can be. Hey, and if you like the podcast, remember to subscribe. And now, enjoy the show. Hi there. Hope you're having a great week. Welcome to this week's episode of Epic Entrepreneurs. And I have the first repeat guest on Epic Entrepreneurs. It's Holly Fisher. And she is going to enlighten us today with some pretty cool marketing tips. And so that's what we're looking for. So welcome again, Holly.
Yeah, thanks. I feel special being the first repeat guest.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. Well, just for those who may not have caught the first episode, tell us just a quick overview of who you are and what you do.
Sure, absolutely. So I own Fisher Creative Marketing, and I'm a StoryBrand Certified guide. So I work with folks helping them to clarify their overall marketing message and then build out the rest of their marketing sales funnel. So their website, their email campaigns, lead generation tools, and other forms of marketing strategy and content.
Yeah, so we really like the StoryBrand framework, and I think it's worth spending a little bit of time on it. Maybe have you explain the framework and really why it all works.
Sure. Yeah, I'd be happy to. I got certified as a story brand guide back in early 2018. So the book Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller was still pretty new at that point. So a lot of people did not know about story brands. So I was spending a lot of time educating and informing people. And now almost 7 years later, a lot of people have read the book. A lot of people are familiar with it. But I still run into people that don't know anything about it. So it's great to give folks a little bit of a refresh and a little bit of education on what the story brand marketing framework is. And it's essentially a tool that we can use to help clarify our marketing message. And it is based on classic storytelling principles, right? So the same sort of rules, if you will, that folks would follow if they were writing a blockbuster film, a novel, a really great TV show. These are the same kinds of principles that we can use for marketing purposes. So the really great thing about it is that it does help you get your mind wrapped around how can I talk about my business in a way that invites people into a story and really wants them to engage with me. So, so the 7 parts of it are starting with your character or your client or customer and figuring out what that person wants, right? So what's the thing that they're looking for? I often tell people that could be as simple as what somebody might type into Google, right? So what are they looking for, right? In my case, they might be looking for a marketing professional, right? Somebody to help me build my website, right? Those kinds of things can be really simple. What are they looking for? And then we also have to think about what is the problem that that person is facing, right? So what's, if they want a really great website, what's keeping them from that, right? If they want to grow their business and better use their marketing, what's getting in the way, right?
Let's stop just a sec here, because I think this is a big deal. Like defining what their actual problem is. Can you talk a little bit more about how you go about helping people do that?
Yeah, and one of the challenges is when I work with clients, most people go, well, we solve lots of problems for people, right? We can help them with this and that and this other thing, and they can rattle off, sometimes a half a dozen or more different problems that they might actually help people with. And so the challenge is figuring out, all right, which one of those do we want to land on? And I try to encourage folks to think about what is the big problem that maybe 80 to 90% of the people that you want to work with are facing, right? Because as businesses, we need to be known for solving a particular problem. And if you're out in the marketplace talking about 20 different problems that you solve for people, it's going to be very hard for your potential customers and clients to associate you with solving a problem if you're talking about a whole bunch of different things, right?
Yeah,
So
if
you
you
have to
can,
kind of land on one.
yeah, if you confuse people, then they don't do anything.
Absolutely. Yes. Confused people take no action. So we often give the really simplistic example of, Bill, if you said, I have a headache, I would give you a Tylenol. I wouldn't give you a Tums, right?
Yeah,
Because
that's
we
right.
know that a Tylenol solves a headache and a Tums is what you take if you have heartburn, right?
Right. Yep.
So it's kind of a simplistic example, but we associate that solution of a Tylenol with a very specific problem of a headache. And so we have to do the same thing with our business. We have to think about what's that one big problem. It doesn't mean you can never talk about some of the other problems that you solve for people, but we want to land on one big problem that we can really talk about in our marketing. And so people start to go, oh yeah, that business does fill in the blank, right?
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So a character has a problem.
A character has a problem. That's right. And then we get to step in as the business into the guide role, right? We're all about making our customers and our clients the heroes in this story. And so we want to be the guide. We want to lead them to a successful, transformative outcome, right? So, you're the Yoda in this situation, in this story that we're telling, right? So we step into this guide role in a couple of different ways. We express some empathy, right? We understand what our clients and our customers are going through. We get it. Either maybe we've been there ourselves and overcome that problem, or we simply have worked with a lot of people and we really understand what they're dealing with. So we're able to express some empathy, and then we're able to express our authority, right? How are we competent in solving this problem? What is the solution that we have to offer, right? So simply me just talking about being a StoryBrand guide is part of my authority, and that I can help you solve your problem of having a muddy marketing message, right? By having this framework that I use with folks. So very simply expressing that empathy, expressing that authority, and going, hey, I understand your problem. I have a solution to guide you to this successful outcome.
Got it. So a character has a problem who finds a guide.
Yeah, they find the guide, and then we actually have to give them a plan to move forward, right? I mean, if you think about that in any movie that you watch, right? The guide is usually giving the hero of the story some sort of, plan that they have to follow, right? They have to, go on this quest or something.
Right. Yeah. Right.
And so we give people a really simple plan to move forward. It's typically 3 steps that we like to give folks. And it also helps them overcome any concerns that they might have about doing business with you, right? So especially if you happen to have a product or a service that might feel a little complicated to people, might be a little expensive, right? And so immediately people are sort of opting out, right? It was like, oh, I was really excited about this thing, and now I'm going, I don't know, should I? Maybe not. So if we give people a 3-step plan, it makes it really easy for them to see how they can do business with us, right? And it doesn't have to be all the steps to doing business with us, right? It can be as simple as, booking a call, choosing your package of services, and then watching your business grow, right? It could be that simple, but it really helps people take that first step toward doing business with you.
Yeah, no, right. So now we've got a character who has a problem, who finds a guide who gives them a plan, and it's a 3-step plan.
That's right. 3 steps. Sometimes I'll let you get away with 4,
Sometimes
but no more than 4
4
steps.
Right. Yeah.
No more than 4, because people like things in 3s. We can remember 3s.
Well, I think we have to keep it simple in a marketing message. I mean,
That's right.
it just doesn't work otherwise. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So your this applies to all your marketing. You're just making this easy.
Absolutely. If I gave you a 10-step plan, you're going to be like, whoa, too much, I'm out.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it's good. All right. So
So
we got
now
a
we have
plan.
to, yep. So now we actually have to call our hero to action, right? This is the moment, right? This is the time when you've got to, like, do I cut the red wire or the green wire to disarm the bomb, right? We're calling
Yeah.
them to action. And this is actually a really simple thing that a lot of businesses just totally miss. They're simply not asking people to do business with them, right? So if I go to somebody's website, I should see, I'm going to say the buy now button, right? All over their website. Schedule a consultation, book a demo, buy, whatever that main call to action is that you want people to take should be front and center everywhere. Make it easy for me to give you money.
Yeah, I have a story on that. I worked with a roofing company and their website was really good. And they didn't have, book an estimate now, but on one page. And they had 8 or 10 pages in their website, and they just put it on all the other pages, and their inquiries went up by 20% by just putting in the same button on every page.
Yep.
So,
I'm not surprised to hear that. That's actually one of the simplest things that a business can do. You don't even need to hire me, right? You can just make that change yourself.
We were working on one for the summit the other day, and I mean, I was like, look, this thing needs to have buy tickets, and here's how you get your tickets all over it. I mean, every page needs to have that on it somewhere in big letters. So yeah, I think that's good. All right, so we're calling to action. So now we've got a character who has a problem, who finds a guide, who gives them a plan, and then calls them to some sort of action.
Yeah. And then we also have to show people the success or the failure of working with us, right? So we really want to highlight the success. We really want to play up how their life is going to be better, their business is going to be better, their health, their family, whatever it is, right? What are the success elements after working with your business? And then on the flip side of that, we also have to showcase what's at stake if people don't work with us, right? What's the failure that they are going to experience? And you don't have to, you don't have to use this a lot in your marketing. You just kind of have to sprinkle it in a few key places to help people understand, yeah, if I don't hire that business, I'm still going to be dealing with X, Y, and Z, or something is going to be worse in my life or my business. I'm not going to be able to achieve the goals that I have, that sort of thing. So we have to drip in that failure a little bit.
Yeah, it's sort of the away from and the towards.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, what is it? I mean, there's a reason that they came to you in the first place.
That's right.
And it's usually some sort of, but they have to be reminded of what that is.
Exactly.
In the marketing, like what are it's sort of the consequences.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Because again, remember, people will kind of start to opt themselves out of things, right? We start to have second thoughts, right? And so as a business, we need to remind people, hey, you came to me because you have this problem. If you don't hire me, here's what's going to happen, right? Here's what's at stake if you don't. And then, the last piece of all this is really helping people kind of transform, right? So we can also think about how we want, what's that transformation that we want people to go through? We want our clients to go from A to B. What is that transformation? And that can be a really powerful, helping someone see how they can be better, how something can be different, how they can go from someone who was, maybe struggling in their business to being really confident, in the business and the work that they do.
Yeah, I like it. So, I mean, this makes complete sense to me. I've been through this quite a bit, but why does this work?
Yeah, great question. So a couple of reasons. One is that I think for the consumer, it really helps you understand what a business is all about, right? So we are wired as human beings to survive and thrive, right? We're looking at every potential opportunity going, how is this going to help me in my survival? And how is this going to help me really thrive, right? I mean, fortunately, most of us don't have to worry too much about our actual survival, but we are looking for things that are going to make our life better, right? And so anything that doesn't really help us with that, anything that is just sort of noise and clutter, we're going to sort of filter out. And so as businesses, we always want to be thinking about that. How can I tell people how I'm going to solve a problem for them? I'm going to help them survive and thrive, right? Whether that's in the business world, in their family, their finances, their health, right? Whatever it is that you do. And so it's a really powerful way for just your potential customers and clients to go, oh, I get it. I see exactly what you do. Right. And that's so important because we are bombarded with a zillion different messages every day. And you have to be really clear to stand out and get people's attention.
Yeah, I think becoming part of the story really, drawing people into a story. I mean, we all like a story. Let's face it. I mean, we can think of movies or books or whatever it is. They all have this similar. The ones that are blockbusters all have this similar plot line if they go back and if
Absolutely.
they go back and figure it out. And
Absolutely.
that's how they came up with this. And so I think we're just wired as humans to really love this thing. So
100%.
yeah. Where do you see the biggest mistakes? Like which one do most people, which one of these areas do they mess up the most? Yeah.
Well, definitely that call to action, like we were talking
Yeah.
about. That's a big one for sure that people are just missing out on. The other part is stepping into that guide role, right? A lot of businesses want to make themselves the hero,
Mm,
right? We want to talk a lot about, look how awesome my business is, look how great we are, look at all the things we've done. And you can still talk about those things, right? There's still a place to kind of work those in. But the main message needs to be our customer is actually the hero, and we're here to guide them to the successful outcome. So, if I go to somebody's website and like they're just, it's all like, let me start with my company history and like, let me tell you how long we've been in business. And my grandfather started the company, and here's a big picture of our building and like all this stuff. I'm like, I don't really care. I want to know if you can solve a problem for me. All
right.
right. That's the big question, right? That we all have as consumers. Can you help me solve a problem? And if you lead with your story, then you're just kind of losing people.
Yeah, they don't care. I mean,
Yeah,
you're right. I mean, if they click on it and they want to buy a swimming pool, they're trying to figure out where to buy a swimming pool.
that's right.
They're not trying to figure out. I mean, the history may be helpful at some point, but they don't really care. Like
That's right.
how do I buy a pool or how do I buy
That's
a
right. It's
car?
not the
Or,
first thing, right? It's not what we lead with, right? You
yeah,
can still have some of that. You can have some of that information, but we need to lead with, let me help you make your life better. Let me solve a problem for you.
yeah. That's super. Um, Other thoughts or other things that I haven't asked you here about this sort of framework. It's so powerful. I mean, I would really encourage you to go out today, take a look at your marketing and see where it's missing. Because I guarantee you, I don't care who you are, it's missing.
Yes,
I mean, I've looked at some, everybody's has got room for something, some kind of improvement. I know for sure we do.
yeah,
And, it's one of those things that you may not get. So, I mean, to me, that's your home fun is go out and review some of your marketing and figure out, hey, what's the problem this thing's solving? What's the message we're actually sending? Or
absolutely.
yeah. And
Mhm,
yeah. And like you say, I mean, for us, I do feel like it's for us, at Action Coach, I feel like we do solve a lot of problems.
mhm.
And so picking one is an interesting thing. But it's easy to do on one marketing piece, but when you're thinking about your whole business, it's like, all right, well, hang on, what's the actual thing that we solve? So yeah, it's an interesting exercise that can get you down there. So other
Yeah.
thoughts or
Well, I think one of the big things too, Bill, is starting with this message because I see a lot of businesses that, maybe they're working on redoing their website and they've kind of jumped into like working on the website. Oh, I found a template, I'm working with a designer, and yet we don't really know what we're saying at this point, right? Or they want to get into doing more email marketing or more social media, but they don't have the message nailed down. So if you can start with the messaging and get that really solid and build that foundation, it's going to make all the rest of your marketing, one, easier for you and also more effective, right? Because you have that consistent message that you're sharing with people over and over again. And as a business owner or a marketing person for your business, you're not having to stop every time and go, I wonder what I should say. How
No, the
should I
mess.
talk about the business? It's like we've
Yeah.
already figured that out. Just keep saying it, keep saying it, keep saying it.
Yeah, I find that sometimes people get bored with their own message. So if it's working, keep at it. Don't be stupid. Just keep if you've worked out your message, keep going. But all right, if they
That's
need
it.
help, if you need help with your message, what should they do? They should contact
Yep.
you. So
They
how
can
should they do
contact
that?
me. Yeah, best thing is honestly just to go to my website, which is fisher-creative.com. You'll see a nice big schedule a call button all over the website, right? So that's your action. You can schedule a call, or you can certainly find me on social media at Fisher Creative Marketing.
Yeah, this has been awesome. This is a great. Just remember, you have to invite your customers into their story. It's
Yes,
their story, not
that's right.
necessarily yours. You're just part of the story. So that's the big takeaway that I took away from today.
That's
So
great. Yep, that's
yeah,
perfect.
thanks, Holly. Thanks for being here. It's been a lot
Yep.
of fun.
All right. Thanks, Bill.
And until next time, all the best.